Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Back here now, after a relatively competitive performance yesterday in Parliament on Brexit, the Prime Minister was judged by some to have reclaimed ground after a pretty difficult party conference, that's putting it mildly. But she was a little less open today in a radio interview on the same troublesome topic. She repeatedly refused to say how she would vote if there was a second referendum. There won't be one, she said, and she admitted she could not guarantee what would happen to EU citizens living here if no Brexit deal is done by the leaving date of March 2019.
A pair of cabinet Brexiteers.
Are we heading for a no-deal Brexit?
The blonde one wondering perhaps if the Prime Minister he undermined by criticising her Brexit vision had locked him out. Cabinet unity apparently restored, the Prime Minister hoped to reassure the rest of us that she knows where she's driving us by doing a radio phone-in. Now, as someone who voted to keep us in the European Union, how would she vote today?
I could sit here and I could say, oh, I'd still vote Remain or I'd vote Leave, just to give you an answer to that question. I'm being open and honest with you. What I did last time round was I looked at everything and came to a judgment, and I'd do exactly the same this time round.
So she doesn't actually know whether leaving is a good idea. And another thing, having admitted that we may well leave without negotiating a trade deal, she admitted that would pose all sorts of painful uncertainties for EU migrants living here and Brits living in the rest of the EU.
The point is that there are certain things, certain rights that pertain to somebody who's an EU citizen here in the UK by virtue of being an EU citizen. Things like the benefits that they're able to access in relation to their home country and in relation to the UK. Some of those issues, of course, would fall away if there was a no deal, because there wouldn't be an agreement between us and the European Union about how those things would be looked at. So we'd have to look at those issues separately in a no deal scenario, because we don't know what's going to happen. We're working really hard to get a really good deal. We don't know what's going to happen. And at the end of that, if there is no deal, then we have to be prepared for it.
So if we're preparing for Brexit talks to flop, what about the other side?
We hear from London that the UK government is preparing for a no-deal scenario. I would like to say very clearly that the EU is not working on such a scenario. We are negotiating in good faith, and we still hope that the so-called sufficient progress will be possible by December. However, if it turns out that the talks continue at a slow pace and that sufficient progress hasn't been reached, then, together with our UK friends, we will have to think about where we are heading.
Trust the bloomin' European Union to stymie the Prime Minister's media reboot after her week from hell. That said, some may find her I don't knows refreshingly honest. But as she drove home, she may have reflected that maybe a few more answers might have been helpful. Robert Peston, News at 10.